What up, dog? What's up, dudes? What up, my babies? What's going on, guys? Hey, how are you? Honestly, this is the hardest part of a YouTube video for me, is the introduction. I never know what to say or how to say it, and no matter how many times I try, every single time I do it, it feels extremely awkward. So if you liked any of those, please let me know below which one you like. Today's video is dedicated to the quads. We're gonna be talking about my favorite exercises to build massive quads. And contrary to popular belief, I didn't always have these Christmas hams for quads since I was born. I actually had to work for them, like all of us. So I wanted to share with you some of the accessory exercises that I've used over the last 7-8 years to build my quads. Now, two important principles are important to take into consideration when you add these exercises into your program. And the first one is the concept of progressive overload, and that is just basically increasing the difficulty of the movement via either increasing the amount of reps, the amount of sets, or the amount of weight that you're using for that particular exercise. You can't expect to grow or to make progress when you're using the same amount of weight forever. So for example, if you're doing lunges, it's okay if you start your exercise with 10-pound dumbbells on each hand, but you can't just do 10 pounds for the next 3 years and expect your legs to magically grow. You have to constantly be introducing new stimulus in the way of increased reps, weight, or frequency. However, most recent studies suggest that all of the different rep ranges have the potential to lead to muscle growth, but that the best approach that you can possibly do is a combination of all of them. Your quads can be further subdivided into 4 different areas of your leg. The first one is the rectus femoris, which is the only muscle in the lower body that actually crosses through 2 different joints. So it starts almost at the top of your hip, and then it attaches at your knee, and it has dual action. So it flexes your hip and it also extends your knee. The rest of the muscles of your quad are your vastus medialis, your vastus intermedius in the middle, and your vastus lateralis. All of those 4 quad areas are innervated by the same branch of the femoral nerve, so you can't really isolate them, you can just work them in conjunction. When it comes to lower body exercises, anytime that you're going from the top to the bottom, so the descent of a squat or the descent of the lunge, your quad muscles are working eccentrically, and when you push up from the bottom in the ascent, then they're working concentrically in conjunction with synergistic muscles of the back of the leg that are also working to extend your hip. All right, so the first exercise we're gonna be going through is a heel elevated goblet squat. I'm gonna have Hayden demonstrate that for me. So all you have to do, grab the dumbbell, grab it in front of you. You're gonna put your heels on a platform or on a plate, and then you're just gonna squat. So notice how the elevation of the heels leads to a more pronounced knee flexion angle, and that's exactly what we're looking for to stimulate more of the quads, to focus more on the quads. The main downfall of the goblet squat and using a dumbbell is that you're limited by how much weight you can actually hold, or even how much weight you can actually lift off the ground. So if you feel comfortable with a barbell, then doing it with any barbell, this is a duffel barbell, you can use a straight bar as well, might be even better for you. When you're doing it with a barbell, make sure that you place the bar on the high bar position so that your chest isn't forced to incline forward. The next exercise we're gonna cover is a Bulgarian split squat. The beauty of this exercise is that you get to focus all of your energy and all of your strength on the leg that is placed forward, and you should be trying to limit the amount of reliance that you have on that leg that's behind. Now there's different ways that you can do a Bulgarian split squat, 3, and that's by varying where you hold the dumbbell and whether you hold 1 or 2 dumbbells. That's going to place emphasis on different portions of your leg and have slightly different functions or purposes. So the first one that we're going to cover is a Bulgarian split squat using 2 dumbbells. One of the perks of doing it this way is that you can hold a lot more weight and load the movement a lot more. It's also easier from a balance standpoint because you have symmetrical amounts of weight on your hand. As far as stance placement, you want to make sure that you stand far away enough from the bench so that you have a nice deep stretch on your backwards quad. You don't want to be so close to the bench that it makes your movement look awkward and you have no stretch on the back leg. The next variation we're going to go through is the Bulgarian split squat with a contralateral load. That basically involves holding the dumbbell on the hand opposite to the leg that's on the floor. Holding it this way, you're targeting mostly your anterior longitudinal sling, and that is basically your external abdominal oblique on your, in this case, on your right, and the contralateral or the opposite side adductor. This exercise also involves a little bit more core control and a little bit more stability and balance. And finally, the last variation that we're going to go through is a Bulgarian split squat with the dumbbell on the same leg, on the same hand as the leg that's on the ground. So in here, you'd be working more on the abductors on the left hip, so on the muscles that stabilize your hip, rather than on the core. So again, 3 different variations of the Bulgarian split squat. Holding 2 dumbbells, holding 1 dumbbell on the hand opposite to the foot that's on the floor, or holding 1 dumbbell on the hand of the leg that's on the floor. I would recommend doing the 3 variations, or if you're trying to work on something specific, then stick to that variation for several weeks, depending on exactly what you want to work on and what your body needs. Now, the next exercise we're going to see goes a little bit against popular belief of how a lunge should look like. And this type of lunge is with more knee flexion. It's an accentuated knee flexion lunge, again to target more of the quads. Now, the notion that doing a lunge with more knee flexion is bad is perpetuated by people who believe that certain movements are bad and certain movements are good. When in reality there's no movement that's necessarily bad for you, but it's your preparedness for the movement what's ultimately going to determine, and your preparedness and readiness for the movement what's ultimately going to determine if it's a good or bad movement for you in particular. And the last exercise is going to be a back pedal sled drag. There's really not much to it other than you want to make sure that you're extending your knee after every rep, so don't get sloppy with it, and don't let the movement come from your hips. You want to focus all of your mental energy in extending your quad and flexing at the top. You want to use a low to moderate weight, so nothing that would get you stuck after each step. You want to make it fairly fast paced so that you get a really nice burn in your quads. Obviously, these are not the only quad exercises out there. These are just my personal favorites. So give them a try and let me know what you think. Catch you guys next time. Why do you keep saying that?
Why do you get so choppy? It's so weird.